Hi there. Today is Careers Q&A Day, where Zoe and I give you some personal attention.
So, for today's listener question, we are diving into the realm of narrowing down choices. And Elise has asked us, how do I figure out the right career for me? I know I've got loads of interests and I could go in many different directions, but how do I know that I'm making the right choice? Now, this one is one that I really understand personally too, because I'm also someone with lots of interests and ideas. And it's definitely familiar territory for many of our coaching clients too, isn't it, Erica? You know, on the one hand, having lots of interests and options can feel really exciting and full of possibility. But on the other, it can, I guess, quickly turn into confusion or self-doubt when you start thinking, but which one is the right one? And what I think I want to say up front is that having lots of interests is not a flaw. You know, it is a sign of curiosity and creativity and high energy. And the challenge isn't so much the number of options, it's the pressure we put on ourselves, I think, to make the perfect choice, as though one decision has to define the rest of our working lives. So I think the first thing I would say is I would get that down on paper. So I would brainstorm into a sort of like messy mind map, if you like, of so what are the things I'm talking about here? So I might put down, for example, art and photography and music and careers and coaching. It might be a whole heap of things going down on that list. And then I would try and take a step back and think about what are the things for me that are pleasurable and just for me, as in a hobby that I don't want to monetize? Like, what are those things? So I would kind of then push those things to the sides. Then I'd be thinking about, of what's left, what are the things that mean the most to me, where I really want to be dipping my toe in the water of that from a work perspective, where I do want to monetize it. So I'd definitely be kind of carve up that list, if you like. And the reason I say that's important is I'm quite a good cake baker and I make celebration cakes for people for birthdays in the family, and I love doing it. And people have said to me in the past, oh, Zoe, you should definitely monetize that and you should be doing this for a living. But quite frankly, I've got no desire to do that, because it would be too much pressure to make something for a monetary value. It's something that I enjoy doing occasionally. It's not something that I would want to be doing every day. And so I know that wouldn't be a successful outcome for me. And so that's another good point to spend some time thinking about is, well, what would a successful everyday look and feel like for me? What are the skills and talents and gifts that I want to be using? And which of those passions and interests and hobbies does that relate to? So I think I would start there. What about you, Erica?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I would say the reverse, which is also you never know from that brainstorming that Zoe suggested, you never know where that could take you. That might blow your mind in terms of being able to earn a living from it. For someone else, it might be like, oh my God, if I could actually make a living making really elaborate cakes, they'd be delighted, right? So Zoe's absolutely right to make that discernment about what's just for you that actually might be a little bit harmed or hindered or stressy to then make a living out of, versus what am I like, I haven't even dared to dream that might be possible. Because if you think about it, people do make livings from extraordinary cakes. People do make a living out of being very naturally funny and warm. People do make a living out of some very surprising things. So keep an open mind around that is what I would say as well. And then I just want to pick up on the last bit of the question asked, which is, how do I know that I'm making the right choice? So define right. So we have a way of defining right within the equation context, which is, are you using some skills you want to be using? Are you enjoying what you were doing? Do you think that would fill you with passion and enthusiasm? Does the result of your work feel meaningful and satisfying to you at this time? And then is the environment, the context in which you're doing that work, suitable for bringing out the best in you? So once you have started to think about that, going wide, doing the big brainstorm, perhaps coming to narrow it down to say, let's say, I don't know, 10 ideas for directions you could take your life in, it might be worth a little bit of a kind of thought experiment against those 4 criteria and seeing how they stack up, and then starting to eliminate. nobody can predict the future. Nobody can know for sure with absolute laser precision that if you do all of this work, then it's inevitable that you will find a career that you absolutely love, that's stellar, that you never would have predicted before. But what we can know is that if you don't do this work, it's much more likely that you're going to end up in a slightly wayward or just feeling less sure about the decision that you've made. So I hope that we've given you some good, tangible pieces, listener, and we wish you every success. Keep in touch. If you'd like your question answered on the podcast, please send us an email or a voice note to pod@thecareerequation.com.